Big fight news coming to us on Friday. Thank the Lord. We have had terrible news pretty much the entire last 2 weeks between Islam Makhachev ducking to Poirier, the fight getting canceled between DDP and Hamzat, all sorts of people calling for title shots that don't deserve them. Is this the fight that makes sense for the division? Absolutely not. Is it the fight that we all would love to see? Absolutely. I'm pumped for this fight. Absolutely pumped. News literally just broke. Dustin Poirier went on, I believe, the Pat McAfee show and broke the news pretty much same time UFC put out this promotional poster. So it is official. Dustin Poirier versus Max Blessed Holloway 3 for the BMF belt. And these guys are 1-1. We had to know this was coming. It doesn't make sense for Dustin to fight anyone really in the top 5. I mean, he's lost to Oliveira. He lost to Gaethje, head kick knockout. I don't think that he's fought Sarukian, has he? I don't think so. No. But fuck, does he have the who's who of a resume? He's the people's champ. He has won the interim belt, but he has never been the undisputed lightweight champ. He got so close multiple times. Choked against Khabib. Choked against Islam. Choked against Charles. So he's had, I believe, 3 title fights in the last couple years and just has not been able to come away with it. So it just didn't make sense for Poirier on his last fight. We all knew that this was going to be his last fight. It doesn't make sense for him to fight anyone really up in the division because, one, the lightweight division is an absolute shit show right now with the top 5. They've all fought each other multiple times. It's a disaster. So this fight somewhat makes sense as his going out fight. After this, he should be out of the rankings. It doesn't affect Max Holloway's rankings within the lightweight division. It's a great fight. I'm super, super pumped about it. And here's the sad thing, is that these are 2 absolute fan favorites. It really doesn't get any bigger than this, right? Dustin Poirier is, like I said, the people's champ, huge following. I don't really know many people that don't like the diamond. And then you got Max Holloway coming off of a knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. But before that, coming off of the craziest knockout probably in UFC history over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. I don't think there's ever been a knockout that has made me get out of my seat and run around screaming in my office like that knockout did. I am hard pressed to say that we will ever see another knockout in the UFC coming down the last 10 seconds, ending like that after an already exhilarating fight. So the Topuria fight, it took a little bit of steam out of Max's momentum, but I think more people remember his highlight knockout over Gaethje versus, I think it hurt it hurt me seeing Holloway get knocked out by Topuria. So I think as fight fans, we kind of put that in the back of our mind and we choose not to deal with it. So when I think of Max Holloway, the first thing that I think of is him knocking out Justin Gaethje in the craziest way possible. So Although it probably took a little bit of steam out of his momentum, as fans, I really don't think that we see him any differently. It absolutely sucked seeing him go down like that, but that's what Max is coming into this fight dealing with, the highs and lows of this sport. I cannot imagine many people experiencing more of a high than Max Holloway did at UFC 300. I wasn't in the building, but I'm assuming that it was deafening in there. I know everyone I was watching the fight with was losing their minds. So he's riding that massive high, calling out El Matador, and then goes and Poirier beats him up, knocks him out. So it was hard to see. We had never seen Max Holloway knocked down, nonetheless finished. Like, think about that. He'd been like stung on the feet before, but Max Holloway, until his fight with Poirier, had never been knocked down in his UFC career. That's insanity. Especially with how he's been in the promotion for a decade now. Like, look at this shit. He has literally never fought anyone once he got into the UFC that was not really a. I mean, starting out at Cub Swanson, Jeremy Stevens, who the fuck is that guy? I mean, back in 2015, Jeremy Stevens was actually a threat. He was a hard hitting 45er. Charles Oliveira, Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo twice, Brian Ortega, Dustin, Frankie Edgar, Volkanovski, Calvin Kattar, Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, Justin Gaethje. Like, he fought all those people and didn't get knocked down once until he came across El Matador. So, just goes to show you how fucking hard Ilya hits. At 145 at least. I don't know if that power is really going to translate at 155. Is he going to touch people at 155 and then crumble like people did at 145? I don't think so. We'll see soon enough whether he fights Islam or not, but absolutely bonkers that Max Holloway fought this roster and didn't suffer his first knockout and knockdown within the same fight until this guy. Crazy. That is super hard to comprehend that he fought the who's who on that list and never once was dropped. Again, he was stung a few times. He's definitely been clipped, but he's never been knocked down. I know when I was watching that Holloway fight, it was like, am I dreaming watching him getting tagged like that? Because usually he just eats it and it doesn't have any effect on him. But you could tell when Ilya was connecting, it was hurting. But Dustin has had kind of a weird last few years, if I'm being honest with you. You know, I mean, he went from this was for the belt, lost, right? And then him and Hooker had one of the craziest fights still to this day. If you have not watched that fight, go on YouTube and watch it. It's on there for free. Those two beat the absolute shit out of each other for 15 minutes. Then he had his second and third fight back to back with Connor, which oddly enough took place pretty quick within 6 months. And then he's kind of been a little spotty from there, right? He was on a pretty good streak here. Hooker, his two McGregors, and then he hit Oliveira and lost. beat the tar out of Chandler and then submitted him. And he's just kind of he got head kick knocked out from Gaethje. That was crazy to watch too. At least since I've been watching the sport, I had not seen Poirier get rocked like that and knocked out. It was almost left me speechless just watching him just fall over from that head kick. And then he comes back with an exhilarating knockout over Benoit Saint Denis, and then chokes the title again against Islam. And Dustin is one of my favorite fighters. I have always liked Dustin. You're guaranteed a barn burner when he fights. He doesn't have any boring fights. So I have no doubt in my mind that Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier are going to put on a fucking master class of a performance in this fight. Us fans are getting treated. This is going to be. They have the ability to make this with this type of headliner. I'm assuming this is the headliner. You would assume, which Gaethje and Holloway were the co-main for Pereira and Hill at 300. So, can you imagine if Holloway versus Poirier is the co-main? Like, if they did that and they built the card around that, like, we could get one of the most stacked cards of the year. And I'm anticipating that to happen, right? Like, that type of fight, you would assume that that pay-per-view is going to be huge. They're going to absolutely stack that pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure it's like right in the middle of the year. I think they booked it for July. Yeah. So I'd assume they're gonna. It's the month after International Fight Week, so that's the only thing is International Fight Week, which as of right now it's looking very lackluster for an International Fight Week, um, because the International Fight Week this year is looking not so great. They might build up this UFC pay-per-view in July that the BMF title is on to be a just crazy card. So we might get treated to a couple more like super fights on that card, so to speak. Nonetheless, exciting news. We needed it, especially after the last 2 weeks of nonstop bad news and BS within the UFC. So we're ending off this week with a great fight getting announced. They also just announced a couple other fights, which we'll be putting a video out in the next day or two, covering some of the more recent fight news. But super excited for this one, everybody. It's in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Dustin's going to have his home crowd. That James Brown walkout is going to be fucking sensational. I'm sure it's going to be a riot in that arena. I would kill to go. That's going to be a crazy atmosphere. Holloway is going to be stepping into enemy territory. It's going to be a hostile environment. I'm sure that whole week, people of Louisiana and New Orleans are going to be backing their guy. So, great news to end the week. If you stuck around this long, go ahead and like and subscribe the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.